Hello, everyone, and a happy evening again to all of you. Welcome back to the expert talks that are a part of the 6th annual Butterfly and Bee Awareness Week. Today is the 5th and final talk for the week, and you can find the recordings of the previous year's expert talks on the Bangalore Butterfly Club channel of YouTube. And the recordings of the talks of this week too will be available shortly. In the past 4 days, we've had informative and well-attended talks on butterflies. Today's talk is about another group of fascinating insects, the bees. And to talk about them, we have our speaker for today, Apoorva BV. Apoorva, who has been a beekeeper for the past 4 years, that is since 2008, has multiple roles and experiences to his credit. He is the chairman of the Hive, Bangalore, co-founder and director of HoneyDay Bee Farms Pvt.Ltd, and the proprietor of Sridhar Industries. A recipient of the Startup India recognition, he is also the Empanelled supplier of beekeeping units for the Government of Karnataka. He is a professional training associate of Khadi and Village Industries Commission for the Government of India. A speaker at many agricultural universities, he has given talks for All India radio programs and for the TEDx event as well. The HoneyDay Bee Farm, of which he is the co-founder and director, is presently focused on manufacturing beekeeping equipment, supplying new bee colonies, and training and providing assistance to all sections of society about beekeeping, including farmers, planters, tribal communities, and hobbies. Through the non-profit entity, the Hive, of which he is the chairman, people are being educated about the vital existence of bees in the urban habitat whenever there will be a bee-human conflict. They are also stakeholders in the sector by advocacy in conservation activities of native bees. The Hive is referred and invited to provide useful inputs by NABARD, the Dairy Development Board, Khadi and Village Industries Commission, the Department of Horticulture, and the Forest Department. With a decade-long experience, they are presently working in Karnataka, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Maharashtra, and planning at Jammu and Kashmir with the same models being replicated. Today, Apoorva is going to share his expert knowledge and talk to us about the Bees of Bangalore. Over to you, Apoorva.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Priya, for the wonderful introduction. Thank you everyone for this opportunity to share my little experience with the bees. I have been doing beekeeping and with bees since 13 years now, and it's been a really wonderful time since I started my beekeeping journey when I was doing my engineering. So today I am going to share you a few of the aspects of bees and what is so important about bees in urban habitat, especially in Bangalore, because we don't have specific names for bees. We relate only bees for honeybees, which will collect honey. We can collect food, where we'll be having a little bit of economical gains. But there are solitary bees as well in our urban habitat, especially in Bangalore, that I'm going to share it with you today. So I'm going to share the screen now. So is it visible, everyone?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So we started in 2011, and we have been training the tribal, rural, and urban people. And we have been functioning in different districts and different states in India, and we are doing bee sensitization because people in urban habitat and urban areas, they don't know much about the bees. All they know is about fear. So we are giving all the important information and input to better understand the bees and their behavior when they come to the urban habitat. So we are involved in so many tribal projects as well. converting all the honey hunters into beekeepers. And one of the capacity building program we have done is at Dantewada of Chhattisgarh. We liaison between the community and the bureaucracy. And then we had a very nice project by giving beekeeping training and giving all the beekeeping material and with a livestock. So they monetized this idea and they harvested honey, and we incubated the whole project for 1 year. And then we came back. Now they have their own brand called Bastar Honey. So we work with Forest Department with TSP and SCP schemes, and we provide training and we give them all the material and livestock required. And we give them consultation also whenever they require. And we have worked with the flood rehabilitation project in Coorg also in 2018, where there was a landslide. We collaborated with a Kinder Trust, which is an NGO from Kunur, and we provided scientific beekeeping training to people who who participated. And then we did a reporting mechanism of all things, whatever been done in beekeeping. So basically converting traditional beekeeping into modern beekeeping. And then the families involved and they harvested good amount of honey and wax, and now they are selling at premium price. So now we will talk about our bees now. So there are 20,000 bee species in the world, and there are
Apoorva, can you go full screen?
yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Please.
So we have 5 species which will collect honey, which are social bees. We relate only bees with social bees. So I'm going to discuss about social bees first, and then the solitary bees after this. So we have 5 species actually. I'm showing only the 4. The 5th one is a new formed species. So Apis cerana indica, we have Apis cerana serrana, Apis cerana himalayana, Apis cerana fabricius, Apis cerana carinjodian. So there are so many subspecies of serrana, but these are cavity nesting bees, and beekeeping is done with these species, which are indigenous bees. So we have Apis florea, which is also called as dwarf bees. They can forage within 1 kilometer radius, and they are open nesting bees. You can see them in shrubs and small trees. And we have Apis dorsata, which you can see in all buildings, in apartment buildings and any tall buildings and tall structures, even the trees. So these bees can go up to 9-kilometer radius, and they build very big beehive, and they're again open nesting bees. So most of the problem, whatever we have in Bangalore, is with these bees. These are migratory bees. They come to Bangalore in a particular season, and they leave Bangalore also. So I will talk about that later. So we have another bees called stingless bees, Tetragonella iridipennis, which is a very tiny bee, and they are found in Bangalore in plenty, in abundance. So whenever you go to any electric pole, you can see a small colony in a pipe, which will be done asphalting so that water should not get in. So that pipe, the cable which is going to underground, the pipe will be given. So in all those pipes, if you just go near to any electric poles, then you see all these stingless bee colonies. So they are in plenty in Bangalore. So we can domesticate Apis cerana and stingless bees. Apis dorsata and Apis florea cannot be domesticated in any sort of condition. So this is Apis mellifera, which was brought to India in 1965, and now predominantly whatever honey is being produced in India, India is producing 1,21,000 metric tons of honey, and it is exporting 55,000 metric tons. So whatever predominantly is being exported, it is all from Apis mellifera, which is an Italian bee, which is brought to India in 1965. Now, all the commercial beekeeping and large-scale honey production planning is done only with Apis mellifera in North India, but in South India, we are still sticking to our indigenous bees, Apis cerana. So in a beehive, there are eusocial, I'm talking about only social bees now, eusocial behavior. So there will be worker bees. So worker bees are females and they cannot reproduce, they cannot lay eggs, the fertile eggs, and they are in plenty. They cover 90% of the population in a hive, and they are responsible for all the decisions and whatever will happen inside the hive, and even for migrating or whatever the decisions will be there, it will be taken by the workers. Even the work, taking care of the younger ones, taking care of the temperature of the hive, and building the wax comb, secreting the wax, taking care of the queen, guarding the hive, nursing the younger ones. Every once in 3 minutes, every larva will have to be fed with nurse bees. Again, they are worker bees. So distribution of workers, the labor will depend on the age of worker bee. So the fifth day adult worker bee will be doing something, and the same worker bee, when it attains 15th day, it will be doing something else. So it's a complex society, and the hierarchy is made as per their age and capability and their development, morphological development. So the worker bees will protect the hive, will work for the hive, and they take the decision also. And then the drones, which are males. So the males in the bee colony, they don't have any major role apart from mating with the virgin queen. So they will be sustained and tolerated by worker bees when they are when there will be sufficient food source and storage in a hive. When there will be a dearth period, scarcity of food in the local ecosystem wherever the hive is surviving, then the worker bees will kill the drones in order to sustain the food storage, so that they can feed the food for the worker larvae, not the drones. Because drones don't work in a hive, they don't take care of the younger ones, or they don't forage food. So this is about the drone. And the queen. Queen, whether the colony could be only of 4,000 worker bees or 40,000 worker bees, there will be only one queen bee, and she is the only fertile female. She can lay around 400 eggs to 1,000 eggs per day, depending on the species. So she mates with drones only once in her lifetime, and she stores all the sperm inside the spermatheca, which is a sperm sac, and she is capable of controlling the type of egg she can lay. It is haploid and diploid, which with the diploid, both worker and queen can be made, and haploid, only drones can be made. So, but the command and the control of the queen will be with the workers, and workers will control the queen. Though the name is queen, but the workers will control all things about the hive. So this is about the hierarchy in a social bee hive. So the queens will be having a special food called royal jelly, which will be secreted by the worker bees. So there are set of worker bees which will attain a particular age, which will feed the queen with a special fluid called royal jelly, which will be secreted by their head, and they connect proboscis to proboscis with the queen, and they will feed the royal jelly. So from the birth to death, she will consume only royal jelly. So that's why she has that kind of agility, fertility, and strength to sustain up to 3 years. Whereas the regular worker bees will have only 3 months maximum as their lifespan. So now we will come to the solitary bees. So there are 719 species of solitary bees in India, and 300 are endemic. They are not found anywhere, they are found only in India. And they are crucial for pollination, and they are specialists when I say specialist in pollination, each flower will have its own requirement, how the pollination happens. So there are so many flowers where the social bees cannot pollinate them effectively or efficiently, and sometimes they will not even visit them, where these solitary bees will visit particular flowers, particular species of flowers, and they pollinate in a particular way. So I'll explain about what is that particular way and how they are selectively choosing the particular species. And they are declining due to all the insecticide used in agriculture, and also the pollution, and also the habitat loss, whatever is happening due to urbanization, or any change in any kind of habitat, cutting the tree or changing the terrain. All these things are habitat loss. So in India, we don't consider solitary bees as so important for agriculture or even biodiversity for the common people. The known people know, the entomologists know, but for the common people, the public, the citizens, they should know what is the importance of solitary bees. So the solitary bees can visit some flowers where the honey bees will reject. So it is selectively chosen that which pollinator should go for which flower for pollination. So in Bangalore, it is being researched by VR Bhatta and A.N. Kumar. So these are all the species found in Bangalore. The families are three families, predominantly Epidae, Helictidae, and Megachilidae. So we find different species within the family in Bangalore. As you can see, Apis dorsata, Apis serrana, Tetragonella edipenis are the social bees, and rest all are solitary bees. Xylocopa, Nomia, Megachili, all these species are the solitary bees. So they are solitary and kleptoparasitic. That means there is a tendency of coil bird. How they go and lay their eggs in other birds' nest. In the same way, there are kleptoparasitic bees also. Wasps also are there. They are called as cuckoo wasps or cuckoo bees. So they go and lay eggs on other brood. So that's why they are called as cuckoo bees. So, you might have seen this bee in particular if you are doing any urban gardening or terrace gardening. These are called as blue-banded bee. So I'm not going to tell you the scientific name. You can just go through that. Wanted to term only the common name now. So they belong to Amegilla family, Amegilla species actually. So the blue-banded bee, they are capable of flying very swiftly, very fast. As you can see, their legs, they don't have pollen basket, but they will have a special kind of hairs in that particular legs. So TDL hairs, it's called pollen brush. So whenever they want to collect pollen, they collect pollen for consuming themselves and also for their nesting. So they do the pollen ball, and they lay eggs on the pollen ball. So the eggs will hatch, and then they will start to consume the pollen, and that is how the changes in the brood happens. So these are blue-banded bees, and they can pollinate chili, tomato, or even the wild flora very well. So next time when you see in your garden, you can see these blue-banded bees, and this solitary bee is my favorite bee, and I call it as my friend Blue. So you can follow me in my Instagram also. So I found this in my small terrace garden, and it looks really nice, whenever they are flying around in your terrace garden, visiting one flower to another flower, cross pollinating. and these are carpenter bees. Often mistook as bumblebees. We do have bumblebees in India, but they are situated only in the Himalayan region. They are not found away from Himalayan region, the bumblebees. So these are carpenter bees. They are borers, basically. Wherever there will be a, what do you call that? Uh, the uh, the softwood or the dead wood. They will bore and then they will make temporary nests. So they are solitary. They don't live in society, socially. So what they do is they keep on laying eggs one by one, segment by segment, and then the last egg will emerge first, and the first egg will emerge last. So that is how they make the nesting. So these are carpenter bees. These are big bees. The size of the pollinator should be proportional to the size of the flower. Then only the efficient pollination can take place. So that's why it is arranged in such a way by nature that the size of the pollinator and the flower should meet. So that's why these big bees are selective to particular species and they go for the pollination. They collect pollen, a lot of pollen, and you can see a lot of pollen balls inside their nest. So there are different species of Xylocopa, the carpenter bees. So some species have brown, the body will be brown, and some are yellowish. So they are found in Bangalore. I have seen them. There are different names for that. You can search for it. So this is a small carpenter bee. They are again borers. So these are called as Seratina. So these they look like a jewel. If you can see, the macro image looks like this. So they look like a jewel. So they also are borers. They depend on very small dying trees. If someone has cut the tree, if it is dying, then you can see these kind of species. So all these diversity of carpenter bees or any solitary bees are very crucial for biodiversity because they collect a particular species of pollen with particular species of this thing. So they are, when I say specialists, so because I'm terming as specialists because they are special in a way for pollination. So this is called buzz pollination. So there are certain, varieties of plants, especially the tomatoes. For example, tomato, they give away their potent pollen for particular pollinator. They will not give away their potent pollen to every pollinator around. Uh, the social bees are not having this kind of particular skill called buzz pollination. What they do is they cling on the flower in a particular way and then they vibrate. They vibrate the whole flower like this. So it makes the flower to spray out the potent pollen outside. That is how they collect that potent pollen, which will be rich in nutrition, and then they will go back to their nest. They will get a little bit of pollen and they get pollinated very well. So that's why in Europe and all those regions, they get bumblebees for pollination inside the greenhouse. But here, social bees cannot be kept. The other social bees like Apis family, Apis florea, Apis cerana, Apis mellifera cannot be kept inside the greenhouse because they don't, navigate inside the greenhouse and they don't perform inside the greenhouse. They need to be left outside. Where bumblebees and these kind of solitary bees are capable of doing the buzz pollination, and for particular species, this particular buzz pollination is really very much required. So this is really specialists. So that's why I call them as specialists. So this is a leaf cutter bee. So you might have seen this in your garden. in Bangalore, you will see something like this to your leaves. So you are planting, probably, rose also, or any flowering plant, or even the jujube, leaves. You might be seeing that, cutting the circular way. So if you see something like this, it is not necessarily caterpillar. It is a leaf cutter bee. So why do they cut these leaves? They need to make their nest like this. So they make their nest like this, like a reed, like a straw. So there will be different segments. If you take away the one set of formation of the leaf at the cone, then there will be another segment inside. They will be having different cocoons inside, different segments of cocoons. So one by one, they emerge and they get into our ecosystem. And when they attain the age of mating, they will come back to the same place, because I have tested once here at my office. It happened. They come back to the same habitat and they will nest again, the same insect hotel. I have designed an insect hotel where the leaf cutter bees and carpenter bees are, occupying. So they are also specialists, because they have their own way of collecting pollen and pollinating it. As you can see, they are pollinating the legumes now, like tur and all those things. So they have a different hair under their abdomen. So they are called as copa. So as you can see, so this particular region is covered with a lot of pollen. So they are collecting pollen like this. Whereas here, the carpenter bees, they have, carpenter bees are the bumblebees, they have the pollen brush like this in their legs. Here, they have scopa under the abdomen. So they collect pollen like this from the particular species of flower. So that is how the diversity of pollinators will happen in our ecosystem. So in Bangalore, they are found everywhere. So whenever you open your window, sometimes there will be a formation of something like this. So suddenly don't destroy it. Suddenly don't rip away and throw it away. So they don't do any harm. Let all the cocoons emerge and then fly away and get into ecosystem. Then you can wash off whatever is rest lying around. So this is scopa under the abdomen, and they have the different movement also, because I have in my the insect hotel. So they do the different movement like this. The whole abdomen moves like this. So these are ground nesting bees. So all the terrace gardeners or kitchen gardeners in Bangalore, you might have seen this. So there will be, burrows, and they make a little bit of termite mound, emerging from the ground, and there will be a lot of insects going in and coming out. They will be hovering around a lot. These are ground nesting bees. Nomia and so many Antrinidae. There are so many species of ground nesting bees are found in Bangalore. So they can go inside and their nesting will be like this. So there will be different segments in under the ground, and they will be having cocoons like this. So one by one, they will emerge and they will also get into ecosystem. They are also specialists. So they are capable of pollinating particular wild flora and herbal flora. So these are more actually. When it comes to solitary bees, the borers are less, the cavity nesting bees are less, and the ground nesting bees are more. So that's why whenever we plan on changing any terrain, it could be agriculture or anything, we need to consider this particular ground nesting bees. If there are, if we at all can accommodate or change our plan, we will have to do it. So this is about the solitary bees. Again, coming back to the social bees, it could be social bees or solitary bees. So mating will happen like this. The males will congregate in a particular place, and when female flies with leaving the mating pheromone, attracting pheromone, the males will follow the virgin queen, whichever the males will be having that strength and capacity to keep up with the virgin queen, and then they will mate. So in social bees, all the drones which will mate will die. So social bees navigate and they communicate the source of nectar and pollen in a particular way. It's called waggle dance. So this is a sun, and this is a hive, and this is a food source. So the bee is communicating after getting back to the hive. That worker bee is communicating other worker bees by a particular dance. This is called waggle dance, and this is waggles. All these waggles are particular time based. So the time taken for waggles is a distance. So you can see they are turning in a particular direction like this and turning in a particular direction. So this direction is a direction of food. So this is with a reference of sun. So this is called waggle dance. So we will have to study engineering for finding out this the vector calculus. Now they have their in their instinct. They do this waggle dance for food. They do this waggle dance for migration. They do this waggle dance for so many other things. So in NCBS, a lot of things are being researched about this particular waggle dance with different intensity, different communication. So many things are there when it comes to the communication of bees. This is about the social bees. So how dependent are we with the pollinators? So when we look at it, so the developing world is more growing the agricultural produce. So the 50% more pollinator dependent, the the developing world, developing countries are 50% more pollinator dependent than the developed world. And we can say that whatever is being missed, the pollination deficit is being happened. That is how we are measuring that how pollination is important for the agriculture and the food security, or even the regeneration. Whenever there will be good pollinators ratio present in particular ecosystem, the wildflowers or even the food crops. So with efficient pollination, good products will arrive. With the forest, good seeds. With good seeds or good fruit setting, more birds will come, and then they eat, they poop, then they fly, they poop. That is how the seed dispersal can happen, germination can happen, and all the food chain in any kind of regenerative system can happen with the initial input of pollination. So whatever quality seeds you need to get in the forest or in the food, we need to get pollination done at the right time by the right pollinator. So we need to have diversity of pollinators, not only the social bees, also the solitary bees. So now coming to the Dorsetta problem in Bangalore, because I wanted to address this in this particular talk very keenly. So they are the major pollinators of Asia. They cover 9-kilometer radius. That means they can do more pollination. If I say 9-kilometer radius, that means they can do more pollination than any other bees. These are wild bees which cannot be domesticated. So they are capable, they are responsible for the biodiversity in Asia because they are capable of doing this pollination very efficiently, and they are journalists. Yeah, not the journalist, the generalist, not the specialist, generalist. That means they can go to any flower. They cover all the flowers almost, but they may not find the very small flower to sit and do the pollination. So that's why the stingless bees are there, the tiny bees. So they do a lot of honey production in the forest area, all the tribal areas are being given permission to go to the forest, and they are listed under NTFP, non-timber forest products also. But unfortunately, that whatever process is there, whatever is happening inside the forest, it is not being monitored. How they are harvesting honey is a question. Is it sustainably harvesting honey, or are they, impatiently cutting off everything? Even when there is no honey, are they doing it? So there are some questions to be asked. And they do a lot of wax production as well. So there is a value for honey and wax. Whether there will be no honey also, people can take out that hive because there is a value for wax. So this is how the honey hunting is happening in the forest. And when I started my beekeeping journey, I visited a lamb society in Haryana in Uttar Kannada district. I saw that in 2008 and 9, the society harvested almost 5.5 tons of honey. And then the next year it fell because, the whatever, colonies were there, they were chopping it off, and the tribal societies were giving, more honey. And it's a demand and supply situation. Whenever you go to any shop, if there is a forest honey in the label of forest honey and just honey, you will tend to buy only forest honey. So this is more demanding for the tribals to collect more honey. So there is a competition between one lamb society to another lamb society, though there is a marked perimeter for, border for both societies, but they surpass sometimes. So that's why it is declining in the forests also. So we need to look at the sustainable harvest method for the forest, and we need to train the tribal societies to do this in a particular way so that the colonies should not be disturbed. So, why do they come to Bangalore? Why do they like to nest in Bangalore? So let us understand this. So, BBMP and our local authority, they have planted pongamia, copper pots, mayflower, golden bell, eucalyptus. So for mayflower, they prefer to nest, and golden bell, eucalyptus. There are so many trees which are very, very good nectar yielding in Bangalore. So that's why so many swarms come to Bangalore. And before after the rainy season, a lot of wild plants will come, like wild tulsi, sessile joyweed, tridax dicey, and there are so many other plants which grow in Bangalore, and that's why those plants will give very good nectar and pollen source for the bees. So it is interconnected. These trees which are there in Bangalore, which we want to sustain them in Bangalore. When there are trees, when there are plants, for pollinating them, pollinators will have to come in a particular season. So which is that season, that migration season? It is October. Soon after the monsoon, they come to Bangalore. Some little number of swans will come to Bangalore in the month of October. So more swans will come to Bangalore in the month of March, because March is the time, we call it as Vasanta. That means all the flowers will be in blossom, especially in the trees. So they prefer the nesting habitat to be firm, more stable, and it should not swing to the wind. So that is how they like. So that's why they prefer nesting in the tall structures. So our tall structure is only the buildings. So after these, the mature trees also, the most tall structures are the apartment buildings. And these balconies and beams make them perfect nesting site, because they make them look into the spectrum of foraging, getting the nectar and pollen back to their nest, and half sun, half shade, everything will be ideal for them. So that's why they come to Bangalore. So if you remember this October and March season, you need to do something so that the bees should not come to very nearby to your accessible area wherever you want to do accessibility, like the balcony. You need to avoid bees coming to the balcony. If they want to nest somewhere away from the balcony in a particular beam, you need to leave them to start their nesting there, because if they are away from balcony, they are not so dangerous. So that's why let us give them some space to sustain and finish their life cycle. So what are all the mitigation way to not avoid them coming into the balconies? So after they leave or before they coming, you can spray some pungent coating to the ceiling wherever they are coming every year. Not when they are already there. When they are leaving, when they have left, then you can plan on spraying something pungent coating. And then when they leave, you can repaint also, because whenever they have the small marking of wax and everything, even when they leave, other colony may come to the same place, because these colonies are migratory in nature. They may stay for 3 months to 4 months. So if you wait for 3 months to 4 months, 70% of the colonies will migrate from Bangalore. So this is the most feasible and sustainable solution, but people have impatience because they have their own concerns. They have children, they have so many other concerns are there. But as per my observation, the Dorsetta, which is coming into Bangalore, their behavior changes and they don't attack just like that. And we have not heard of bee attacks in apartment buildings so much. Very rarely, it's not like attack. Probably 4 or 5 bees might have stung, but it's not happening like a rural area or the wild area where bees have attacked farmers and farmers being killed. So it's not happening in Bangalore. If you can even search any news about it, you will not find the news about bees attacking in apartment complexes. So you need to attach something to particular spaces so that it should be unstable. Say a screen which will flutter to the wind. If it is keep swinging, then bees will not make that as a nesting site. So they require ideal nesting site as firm, stable, and tall structure. So anyway, you are at a very high level when you are in an apartment building. So that you cannot avoid, but you can block that space by attaching something, blocking that area with cloth or screen or balloon or tapes, anything which will be swinging to the wind. So blackout curtains, not blackout, it's blackout curtains can be used because Apis dorsata is the only species on Earth which can forage in the full moon night also. So that's why they come to the artificial light in the late evenings. So they are colorblind to red. So you can stick the transparent red sheets on the other side of the window and put the blackout curtains inside so that they should not see the light. And with a slider, there will be gaps in the slider. You try to block that space which is making way for the bees to get inside your home. So we need to do something, work out something like this before we get into immediate solution of killing. So immediate solution right now is only killing. So we should not be doing that. The people who are claiming that it can be relocated, when it is relocated, then they will go to some other building. So it's like a elephant conflict. So when someone wants to relocate it, I mean drive them away, they will go from one coffee plantation to another coffee plantation. In the same way, the bees will go from one building to another building. Your problem will be given to someone else. So that's why if you wait, they will go on their own. And before they come, you need to block that space so that the colony should not come and nest very nearby to you. If the nest is far away from you, you leave them. So they also need a kind of safe environment to breed and develop their brood. So that's why they also look at you, your movement, your pet's movement, your children playing around, and so many colors, so many vibrations. But still, they have realized that these things are not threatening for them. So that's why they will build the nest. So after they grow big, then we will see that it is a threat for us, because they look so many insects in the same place and they are growing big. That is when people get fear, because we are taught only fear about the bees, not anything else. So coexistence is the only way, but the education and awareness about bees and these kind of conflicts will have to happen regularly, and some kind of policy should come from the government to protect these bees, because it is being operated by anyone in the metro cities. It is being killed, it is being burned, it is being sprayed. So we need to do something about the Dorsetto issue in the urban habitat. This is one of the mitigation. If you put this looks luxurious, but I am telling you to put the cloth to the ceiling like this so that it will be fluttering to the wind. So the mosquito screen, whatever you're putting, you can put for the bees as well. So urban beekeeping is also a part of conservation. You can do urban beekeeping as a hobbyist at your home, and we have been rescuing bees which are coming to Kamba, the compost making bin, like this, and we are hiving, transferring the colony to the beehive box like this, and then we are offering people to take care of them, and people are getting the skills. This is inverted plant pot, and and the shoe box. So these are all the habitat loss problem. So that's why these cavity nesting bees are coming to Bangalore and making their nests inside these kind of cavities. And people don't know the difference between the bees, and bees are bees, so they think everything is a dangerous one, so they will kill them. So we are trying to reach them and teach them beekeeping, and you can keep the beehives like this. If you have the bees in your area, you can capture them, only Apis cerana, not other bees. So this is meliponiculture about the stingless bees, whatever I have told you. So you can put like this. Even these are children friendly because they are stingless. So they look like this inside the brood. They look like this. So a lot of knowledge can be gained when you start beekeeping. When you start beekeeping, you talk about bees a lot wherever you meet friends, family, or anyone. So that is how conservation starts. So you can visit our bee farm to get more experience, because this is a presentation. You can see a lot of videos like this, but until and unless you get this experience to your children, to your society, to remove fear from your mind, then only something can happen. So you can visit our farm and get that experience, and you can get in touch with us by this. Thank you so much for listening. And now we can take up some questions.
Thank you, Apoorva, for it was a very wonderful talk, and I hope all of us have enjoyed, learned a lot about bees. So there are a few questions from the audience. I'll just read out. So the first question is by H.N. Shankar. He's asking, how do bees and butterfly benefit each other in natural environment? Can we also infer how other species are impacted by studying another species, such as bees in this case?
Okay, so in nature there will be a competition. But as I told you, it is selective in pollination because butterflies have bigger proboscis. They roll, and there are flowers which the nectarine gland will be very high depth. So only butterflies can go and exploit that particular nectar, the load of nectar, where bees cannot, because bees proboscis is shorter when compared to the butterflies. So you can, the arrangement of the flora naturally, if it is the diversity is like that, then both species can survive without any competition. When there is a loss of biodiversity, then there will be a competition because the same source will have to be, for both the species. Then the bees are social and they are in large numbers, so they may exploit more, living butterflies less. So that's why biodiversity diversity of flora is very much required.
Thank you, Apoorva, for that answer. So the next question is, can we know how to handle bee-human conflict? Have there been a big hives in apartment and being sprayed with insecticide or removed manually? By Anand Sundaram.
This is what I have told you. There is no immediate solution for this. Even if you want to relocate in a particular way, we have to take the whole colony away from Bangalore, wherever there will be no urbanization, and then leave them in a particular way so that they can sustain for another week or 2 weeks, so that all the brood will emerge as an adult bee, and then they can migrate. But how many colonies do we have to relocate? Because people want trees, but people don't want bees. So this is the situation we are facing. But let me tell you, if you can avoid coming, the nesting of bees in a very nearby spaces, the accessible spaces like the apartments, balconies, or corridors, something like that. If you can manage to block that spaces like whatever I have told, that is the only way. Otherwise, if they have come, if they have nested, then it is better to wait for them to leave. After they leave, you start the mitigation by blocking the space. Uh, Killing is not a solution, and relocation is not also feasible. So that's why a constant, conservation starts with knowledge. If more knowledge is being shared, then only it will be, the conservation starts.
So the next question is by Lohit, and he wants to know some information about blue-banded bee nest.
Yeah, they do nest in burrows. When, if you can see, they do the nesting in burrows. They are also kind of ground nesting bees. So if you have garden, you try to put some diversity of flowers, then these bees will come. Then these bees will start to nest. So then you can start to observe this. So the coromandel plants, you can search coromandel plants, and even the basil, if you plant, then these bees will start to visit. So blue-banded bees are nice to see and nice to have them around us.
Yeah, so I have also observed them nectaring on the Stachyturpeta jamaicensis wildflowers as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next question is from Kushan, and he's saying that some people spread smoke near the hive to scare away the bees. Is this safe?
See, for bees, everything is still a forest for bees. The apartment complex are rocks for them. So that's why they are called as rock bees. They prefer to nest in big rocks. So for them, Smoke is a programming like a forest fire. If a forest fire is coming, so smoke will come. So what do? They store all whatever is being stored like honey. They have two stomachs. Worker bees have two stomachs. So one is a pseudo stomach or honey stomach. It will be loaded with honey, and then they will start to leave from the place, and then they will start nesting from scratch. So that's why they will require energy to start. So that's why they will load all honey inside. So it is safe for people if the smoke is proportional. For Dorsetta, you need to give them big smoke. If you give them small smoke, then there could be a reverse, response. Because I have seen bees attacking in graveyards, especially by sticking this agarbatti or bidi. Because of that smoke, they get agitated and they have attacked in the rural areas and the wild areas, but not in the urban area.
So yeah, now we know like how much to uh, like avoid the smoke for the bees. Yeah, the next question is from Keshwa. So he's asking what kind of trainings are available for urban hobbyists for beekeeping? Is there any subsidy given by the government for such bee hobbyists?
Yeah, we do conduct training program for beekeeping for hobbies and farmers, anyone. We conduct once in a month. You can get in touch with the number whatever I have provided. So yes, subsidy is given for hobbies also in urban Bangalore. With your Aadhaar card itself, you can start with two beehives at home, and you can get subsidy of 75%. So you get a very big amount back to your account when you want to start beekeeping, urban beekeeping in Bangalore.
So next question is by Radhika Nayak. I have beehives in my garden which were built on mid-sized trees. One of the hive was destroyed by one construction worker. He just came and pulled it down. So how do I protect other one which is also easily reachable? And when can we harvest it?
Yeah, so that should be Apis florea. These bees are docile when it is compared to Apis dorsata, Apis florea, which is a dwarf bee. So if you check, uh, the nesting will be like this, and there will be a branch, and the honey will be encompassing the branch like this, the circular way. So if you go near and slowly touch the upper portion slowly, then they will move away. You can see honey storage on the top. So you bring the plate to perpendicular to the hive and cut only the upper portion and bring the honey portion to the plate. So then that is how you can harvest honey and then sustain the hives. So protecting the hive, uh, that construction worker, if he is willing to destroy, he will destroy. So you will have to give them some security for the hive. Probably put some fence or something. It is better that way.
So, next question is from Taiba. Is there anyone who can help with propagation of bees in suburbs of Mumbai?
Yes, there are few people. There are few players. I can connect with you. If you can get in touch with me, I can connect with you.
Sure. Yeah. Taiba, yeah, please do connect with Apoorva for more information. So next question is by Pradeep. He's asking if blue-banded bee are solitary bees. Do they too store honey, and how to identify male and female?
Yeah, see, these solitary bees don't collect honey. They may forage on nectar. They will consume nectar, but they collect more pollen, and they build the pollen ball like this inside, and then they will lay eggs on the top of the pollen. So that's why the solitary bees are not in much of interest because there is no honey from solitary bees. So identifying the male or female, even I am not, I have not gotten into much, but let me tell you, um, the females, uh, the females will collect pollen and they will because they need to go back to the nest and they will have to store it. So they collect pollen. So males will not collect the pollen. So that's a difference. So by seeing the activity, you get to see and the formation of this tedial hair and then the scopa side. So all those things you can observe and get that.
So next question is from Priya. Sorry. What kind of bees are the small ones that are always on rain lilies and collect so much of pollen?
Yeah, those are stingless bees, Tetragonella erythemachus. Yeah, they look nice on rain lilies. Even I have rain lilies at home. So I have around nine hives of stingless bees around my home and two Serena. So a lot of bees around my home.
Thank you, Apoorva, once again. If anybody else has any questions, they can unmute themselves and ask.
Namaste, sir.
Namaste. Namaste.
Sir, actually, here the problem, I'm from Assam.
Okay.
Here, actually, the problem is that many people, they are afraid of the bees. And what they do is that, commonly for Apis dorsata, what they do is that they burn during the night hours. Whenever they are in some residence or so, some places. They're not aware of this. And it looks quite bad to see the dead bees on the ground.
True. See, this
Sir, is
fear.
there any way to relocate them? Relocate Apis dorsata?
See, let me tell you, the relocation, it looks like this. People will be happy that they are not killed in front of their eyes. But when they are relocated, that means the whole thing will go to the bag, and he will tie the bag, and he will go to some isolated place like construction site or park or any where there will be less population, human population. Then he will throw it. He will usually have to throw it and run away from that space because some bees may attack back. So that's why when he throws it away, we don't know if it is done properly, if the queen is dead or something, more bees will be, killed. We don't know. People who will be taking this particular service, they will be happy that in front of my eyes, they were not killed. But when they throw it away, even if you consider the colony survived, the adult bees, the younger bees will die, the egg larva pupae will die, and then the adult bees will go to same kind of tall buildings. If it is a urban space, if it is a rural space, then they may go to forest also. They may go to some tree. But if it is urban, then there is no feasible solution for relocation. So that's why we don't suggest people to relocate immediately. Wait for 3 months. They will go on their own. So that is the only thing I can tell you right now. Until and unless we have some solution for deterrence, uh, some spray or something, so that the colony should not come to the particular space.
Thank you,
Sure.
sir.
Thank you very much, Apoorva. That was the question section. If anybody else has any questions or if you want to talk to Apoorva, you can contact him. And also, if any of you have missed other sessions, you can go to our YouTube channel, Bangalore Butterfly Club, and access the same. And thank you everyone for attending this talk. Have a great evening.